Welcome back, dear friends. So we'll be doing some boot camping today, and I'll be starting with how I work with my individual clients when I'm working with a client with movement, and also how I like to start my group classes too, which is with the core. We're actually going to start on the back. So the reason I start with the core is because a lot of us aren't even really aware of our core. And when we can feel it, feel the sensations in our core, then we have a better sense of what the core is and whether or not we're engaging it through movement. So with your feet on the floor and the knees bent, just place your hands so that the heel of your hand is resting on your hip bones. You can just let your fingers fold over each other, over the lower belly. And when you take a breath in, just start to let the breath move down towards your hands. It may take a few rounds of breath for it to make it all the way down there, but just see if you can sense that part of your body. When you exhale, see if it deflates or if it puffs up even more. So just paying attention to that part of yourself. And as you start to build this breath, where it becomes easier to move all the way down to the belly, you might start to feel your pelvis rocking under the heels of your hands. You might feel the belly flatten when you exhale and the belly expand as you inhale, and that creating a rocking sensation through the hips and pelvis. And it's not something that you have to try to do. The breath just starts to take you into that movement. So this is just starting to tune you in to that lower belly area, which is where you'll hear a lot of people say is the core. Now, on your next inhale, see if you can fill the belly, then the rib cage. So you feel your ribs expand. And when you exhale, deflate the ribs, then the belly. And you might start to notice, oh, wait a second. When I breathe into my ribs, I feel a stretch in my lower back. So maybe the lower back is part of the core too. And we'll just do a couple more of those breaths, breathing from belly to rib cage, emptying from rib cage to belly. We're going to add one final thing here, final awareness. When you breathe in, fill the belly, fill the ribs. When you breathe out, empty from the ribs, then the belly, and just a gentle hug of your knees towards each other. And you'll feel that in the lower part of your pelvis, the pelvic floor maybe, and the inner thighs. And then when you breathe in, the knees might open a little bit. You'll feel the pelvis rock. You'll feel the ribs and lower back expand. And when you breathe out, you feel that reverse, contracting from the ribs, lower torso, and then the knees fold in, that gentle hug of the pelvic floor. And now we're going to exaggerate that movement just a little bit. So when you breathe in, you can purposefully let the hips tilt. And when you breathe out, feel the ribs hug together. Then feel the top of the hips and the lower back sink into the floor. Knees hug, feel that pelvic floor engagement. And then breathing in, just all open. So you can feel the expansive quality of your inhale and the contractive quality of your exhale. And this is happening in your very center, the very center of your body. So you're engaging your core. Nice. So now we're going to make it a little bit bigger so that when you take the exhale, you empty the ribs, they contract, the belly flattens, the lower back flattens, the knees hug gently, and then the hips gently come up off the mat. Then when you breathe in, they come back down. There's that slight arch of the lower back. The ribs open, lower back opens. Exhale, empty, flatten, feel that little bit of lift, and then feel how that engages your glutes. So the glutes might be part of your core as well. And then when you relax and breathe in, feeling the breath move up the body, you might feel the shoulders press down into the floor and the chest open. So you're working your shoulders as well. So maybe it's your whole torso that's your core. Great, so we'll do one more of those. Breathing in, expanding from the belly, ribs, chest. Feel engagement of the shoulders. And then when you exhale, the ribs empty, lower back flattens. Knees hug in, and then the hips come up, the glutes engage. Nice. And now we'll extend the legs out. We're going to work now from the opposite direction. So we'll continue the same breathing actually. So still breathing in, filling the lower belly, the ribs, the lower back. Then when you exhale, to help facilitate the ribs contracting, lift the head and shoulders. Reaching your fingertips towards your toes. Feel that help the lower back flatten. Then squeeze your legs together. And inhale, relax back down. Now we're going to let the arms go overhead as you breathe in. Feel that deepen the arch in your back. Breathe all the way into your ribs. Exhale, feel the ribs contract as you lift your head and shoulders. Reach the arms, fingers towards your feet. Squeeze the legs together. And you might feel this place where you want to lift up. And that's what we'll do this next round. Breathing in, feel the openness through the front body, through the side ribs, lower back. Exhale, tuck the chin. And as you reach for your feet, flatten the lower back. Keep flattening the lower back. Push the shoulders towards your hips and down towards the mat. Feel yourself start to lift off. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. No worries if you don't. And we'll roll back down. That was my back cracking. Do that one more time. Breathing in. So feeling the openness, this creates the breath in. Exhale. Feel that contract the front body, but open the back body. Chin tucks, reach for your feet, squeeze the legs together. Think you're flattening your lower back rather than trying to bring yourself up. You're trying to flatten the back as much as you can and press your shoulders down. That's what lifts you. So there's not so much like an efforting and trying to grip to move forward. It's actually creating more flexibility in the back and engaging the core in such a way that it's not bracing. It's actually helping the hip flexors engage. So I know that was a lot of talking. So we'll come back down and we'll add on to that. And bring the knees over the hips. And we'll breathe in, reaching overhead. Now as you breathe out, extend the legs. Reach fingertips towards your feet. Squeeze inner thighs. Let that bring you up. And we'll roll back down. Slide the heels in. Press into the feet. Now as your arms come overhead, breathe into the front body. Lift up. Exhale. Come down. Slide the legs out. Reach forward. Feel the lift, or maybe you just feel your shoulders and head come up, and that's fine. As much as you can, flatten the lower back. Then once you land, you bring the knees in. Inhale, arms go overhead. Exhale, arms come down towards the hips, legs straighten out. Squeeze the inner thighs, lift the head and shoulders. Flatten the lower back to lift up. Beautiful. Do that one more time, rolling down. And drawing the heels in, hands to the mat. Lifting to that bridge shape as the arms come overhead. And rolling down. Reaching for your toes as you straighten the legs. Lift the head and shoulders, flatten the lower back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze inner thighs. And that's what brings you up. And then rolling down. Draw the knees in. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, reaching for your feet as you extend the legs. Flatten the lower back and let that bring you up. Great. So, we're going to work another way of getting up. Yeah, I think we'll bend right knee first. Okay, so just starting with the arms out to the side, press the shoulders into the floor, flatten the lower back as you push into the right heel, tuck the chin. Reach through the left toes. And notice if there's a tilt in your hips, can they be sort of level? Okay, now we're going to reach right arm up for the ceiling. The plan is to keep the hands straight up the whole time as we're doing this movement. As you exhale, press into the right heel, keep the right knee pointing towards the ceiling, and roll towards your left arm. Then roll back down, and we'll switch legs, bringing left foot to the mat, right hand out to the side, left hand over your shoulder, reaching for the ceiling or the sky. Pressing with the left heel, roll towards your right, keeping the left hand straight up. And then roll back down. Back to the first side. Press down with the right heel, right hand up. Press into that heel to roll to the left. Keeping right hand straight up. Roll back down. Right arm comes down. Bend the left knee as you straighten the right leg. Left arm up. Press into the left heel, roll to the right. And come back down. Nice. We're going to add on, so we'll go to the right side. Right foot on the floor, that knee bent. We're going to roll onto the left elbow this time. So right arm up. Use your exhale. And roll over to the left elbow. Right hand stays up. It's just the hard part. Roll back down. Changing sides. Press into the left heel. Roll onto the right elbow. Left hand reaches up. Or you can just roll to the side. If coming all the way to the elbow isn't quite happening yet, that's okay. What we're focusing on is what's happening here. What's happening in your core? That challenge of keeping your hands straight up. How does your core have to react to that? So you can see there's a little kick for me, a little bracing. And we'll change sides. Left hand up, roll to the right, come on to the right elbow, keep left hand up. Nice, and then come back down. The left hand comes out to the side. Okay. Beautiful. So we're going to piece all of that together now. So we'll start with the feet on the floor. Feel the lower back gently flatten as you exhale. The ribs contract. As you breathe in, fill the belly, ribs, chest. This is our preparatory breath. And as you exhale, flatten the lower back. Hug the knees towards each other. Moving the knees in towards your chest. Let the arms come up as you breathe in. As you extend the legs, reach for your toes. Think about flattening the lower back, squeezing inner thighs together. Then feel the shoulders hug towards your hips. And that's what lifts you. Rolling back down. This time sliding the heels on mat. Coming to our bridge, so feel the back flatten. Breathe in. Arms come overhead to lift the hips. Hug the knees so you feel your glutes. Slowly melting down. Extending the legs. So the slower you go, the more challenging it is for the body. We have this concept when we're working out or doing fitness. We'll draw the knees in. And then let the right foot come down, left leg extend. Right arm comes out over the shoulder, left hand out to the side. So we have this concept that we have to work super hard when we're working out. Roll over to the left, maybe just roll onto the shoulder. Maybe you come onto the elbow, keeping the right arm up. When we move slow and with intention, it can take a little bit more of our energy, but it can be so worthwhile because it allows us to be more efficient as we move through our day. Nice. And we'll come back down. All right. This time I won't talk through the whole thing. So we'll bring the knees over the chest. Give them a little hug. Then knees over chest or belly. Breathe in. Arms overhead. As the hands come towards the hips, extend the legs, float yourself up, and roll back down. Draw the heels along your mat. We'll come to our bridge, flattening the lower back to feel the lift. Arms reaching overhead. Hug the knees just slightly. Slowly melting down. Drawing the knees towards your chest. Then extend left leg. Right foot comes to the floor, that knee bent. Right hand reaching for the ceiling, sky. Left hand out to the side. Roll. Use the exhale to roll onto your left elbow. Right hand stays up. Rolling back down. Bringing both knees in. And changing sides. So right leg straightens. Left leg bends. That foot on the floor. Left hand up. Roll to the right. And come up. Nice. So we have one more thing to add to this little flow here. And we'll add it on to our get-ups. Okay. So we'll extend the left leg, bend the right knee, that foot on the floor, right hand over the shoulder. Using the exhale, roll to the left. You can stay there. Or roll onto the elbow. Maybe that's as far as you go. Or you can straighten that arm, push down into the left hand, right hand still up, and see if you can lift the left leg, pull the knee in towards your nose. Oops. And then we'll extend the leg back out, come back down, come onto the elbow, roll on down, and we'll change sides. Extending the right leg, left foot on the floor, left hand reaching up, rolling over to the right, press into the left foot, maybe come onto the elbow, maybe lift the elbow, come onto the palm of the hand. The left hand still straight up, push down the right hand to lift the right leg, pulling the knee toward your nose, and extend the leg, come back down, rolling back down. Okay, so we'll add that to our whole flow. So just take a moment with your feet on the mat, knees bent, feel your spine, feel your breath. Feel the inhale, expanding your belly, your ribs. Then the exhale contracts the ribs, contracts the belly, knees hug just slightly. Then pull the knees towards your chest. Breathe in, reaching overhead. Breathe out, extend the legs, reach for your toes. Flatten the lower back. That lifts the shoulders and the head. Fingers reaching towards your toes and shoulders towards the hips is what floats you up. Rolling back down. Draw the heels in, the knees bent for a bridge. Press into the heel. Feel the lower back flatten. Breathing in, rising, arms overhead. Exhale, coming back down. Draw the knees to your chest. Then extend the left leg, right foot on the mat. Right arm up, left arm to the side. Rolling to the left. Come on to the elbow. Straighten the arm. Press down with the left hand to lift the left leg. Pull the knee towards your nose. Right hand still up. That's the hard part. Settling down. Coming down to the elbow. Rolling onto your back. Right arm out to the side. Left knee draws in. Right leg straighten. Left arm up. Press down. Roll to the right, come onto the elbow, straighten the arm, lifting the body, pull the knee in, and then extend out and come back down, rolling onto your back. Nice. All right, so moving on, we're going to bring the hands behind the legs, rolling the spine so that your nose comes towards your knees. I'm going to create just a little momentum with the feet. And once you have that momentum going, see if you can keep the feet quiet and the body still moving, that rolling still happening. And notice what happens in your core. Can you feel how your pelvis has to rotate forward or back to help you find that balance? Nice, and then we'll stay here. Feel the chest lift a little bit. Hug the shoulders down. Find your sit bones, the base of your pelvis. Nice. Now we're going to hug the knees a little closer in. Hug the shoulders down towards the knees. And then feel your sit bones tuck just a little more. Maybe the knees come a little closer to the nose. Nice. You might feel like a natural squeeze out from the belly. Great. You might be able to take the feet apart and then plant the feet and come into a squat from there. If not, you can do a few rocks and see if you can find the squat that way. And then you could also try crossing ankles and bring your hands forward, and then you can unwind into your squat. Or finally, you can roll across the legs, come onto hands and knees, and just lift the knees as you're on your toes. Okay, so you want to find a deep squat position that feels comfortable for you. Okay, so some of us don't have as much ankle flexibility. That's okay. You want your hands between the knees and have your weight forward a little bit. And what we'll be working with, because I'm one of those people, is trying to get one heel down, then the other. So you're doing this little twist, seeing if you can, once you have the heel down, push that knee forward. So you get just a little stretch there. So we can start to change that. Okay, so the knee just goes a little bit past the toes, the heel stays down, and you can just rock that side to side, playing with shifting your weight. Okay, if being here just in this deep squat, just not good, you can just come to hands and knees and work on sitting back with the hips. Okay, so the first one I showed you is like the middle of the road. This one is one step back. One step forward would be to keep your heels down and your hands in front of you, or if you're able to have your arms on your knees, and I can't quite get there myself, but to lift the chest so that you have a long spine. I'm more in the middle, still working those ankles open. Now, what we'll feel into here in these squatting positions is that it's a relaxed position. When we think about squats, we're usually thinking about somebody holding a barbell across their shoulders. But in a lot of the world and in our distant past, I'll say, this was a relaxed position. You know, we ate like this, we used the bathroom like this, very natural position. So it's good for us to come back to that position as often as we can. Right? Now, we are going to do a little bit of strengthening with squatting. And again, if you start to fatigue in any variation of these squats, you could just come to your hands and knees. Maybe straighten one leg out. I like to curl the toes under and press through the heel. And we're going to be using our squat for transitioning. Okay, so we'll do some transitioning from the floor to standing. All right. Great. So now, if you are on your knees, what I invite you to do is just to step forward. And then you can lift the back knee and either step both feet together and come up that way, or you might be able to do that all in one movement. Okay, so that's going to be your variation. If you need more stability, you could step forward, bring your hands to your knee, then lift and step forward. Okay, so experiment with either of those if you're coming from the hands and knees position. If you're coming from our not so flexible ankle variation, you might bring one knee in and come up that way and step forward. Those of you who have the comfort level to be low and you can have that nice long spine, you could come straight up. Okay, so you can feel into that as we're working through this transition. Okay, so we'll start in our squatting position. So I'm going to be in this one. My heels lifted. And then I'm going to turn one leg towards the other. So I'm going to go left to right. So I'm in more of a lunge position. Then I can just push off the back foot and come up to a standing position. I'm going to go back down the same way. So I'm going to step back, come down into this lunge position, and then I'm in my squat. Okay? If you're in the full squat, you're just coming up to standing and stepping feet together and coming back into that squat, and then you can do the other side. If you're on hands and knees, you would step one foot forward for one round, and then the other when we come back to that same position. Okay, so I know that's a lot to think about. Okay, so we'll come into our squat, find the one that works for you. Let's all actually start on hands and knees. So we'll come on to the tippy fingers. If you need a little extra height to bring your knee forward, a lot of times we tend to swing the knee around. So rather than do that, I invite you to arch your back as much as you can. So you can lift the knee high and take the foot forward. So you have more of a swing through rather than using your hip muscles, you're using your core and you're using your pelvis to kind of create some power to lift the knee and step forward. Okay, so around the spine, exhale. Take the right knee up towards the nose, step that foot through, then bring both hands to the right knee. We'll bring the hands back down, come to the right knee, round the spine, lift left knee, step forward, both hands to that knee, hands back down, come back to the left knee. Then we'll take right knee forward, bring both hands to that knee, curl left toes under, lift the left knee, and bring the left knee down, hands down, right knee down. So left knee now lifts, step through, hands to the knee, lifting up, curl right toes under, lift that knee, come back down, hands to the mat, left knee comes down. Okay, we're adding on. So right knee lifts and comes forward, left knee lifts, oops, pardon me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Both hands to the right knee, curl left toes under, lift that knee, step feet together. Step back with the left foot, that knee comes down, hands to the right knee, then hands to the mat, right knee comes down. Left knee lifts, hands to the left knee, curl right toes under, lift the right knee, step forward, right knee steps down, hands to the mat, left knee comes down. Great. Okay, so that's where you can work if that's feeling comfortable for you. If you want to go to the next challenge, you can come to your hands and knees, curl the toes under, and lift the knees, walk the hands back out. So we'll have the feet either under the shoulders, maybe a little bit wider, if that feels good to you. And I'm going to turn to face you for this one. When you exhale, bring left knee to the right. You're kind of twisting both knees to the right. Okay. Then lifting up and stepping feet together. Step back with the left foot, bend both knees, hands can be to the ground. Then you're back in your squat. Both knees go to the left, lifting up and stepping forward. Step back with the right, bend both knees, open the right knee. Okay, so that's the second stage where you can work. Okay. Last stage is the full squat. Going from full squat, breathing in. You can even use your hands pulling down if that helps you come up. Coming all the way up. And then stepping left foot to meet right. Stepping back, coming into your squat. Coming up, stepping right foot to meet left. Stepping back and down. And then if you want to get fancier, you can come up, bring the left knee up. As you turn to the right, open out, find your squat, straighten, right knee lifts, and back down. Okay, so we'll do a couple rounds of that. Just feel what's right for you. Coming into your squat or on hands and knees. Using the exhale to transition. I'm rising, feet together. Stepping back, opening to the squat, knees go to the left, and coming up, feet together, stepping back, and then opening to the squat. Nice, beautiful. Alrighty, so we'll see how we can put all of that together. From the back on the mat. And we'll do a flow that takes us into our squat. So all that we did before, knees in close to the chest, breathe in, reach up. Straighten the legs, reach for your toes. Hug the shoulders towards the hips, flatten the lower back. Squeeze inner thighs together, rise up. Rolling back down. Draw the heels in, plant the feet, lifting to your bridge. Rolling back down. Hugging the knees in. Extending left leg, right arm over right shoulder, left arm out to the side. Planting the right foot, roll to the left. Maybe come onto the elbow, maybe press into that palm. Okay, so if you're just on your back, you could use your right hand, either just roll completely to the right and bring that palm to the floor, to roll to your side and come up that way. Or you can bend both knees, roll to the side, and come up that way. Right, so we'll come all the way onto the left hand, press down with the left hand, breathe in, lift the left leg, pull the knee to your chest, and then plant the foot, and right hand comes down, left hand comes down, you're in your squat. Or if you are rolling to your side, coming up that way, just come onto hands and knees, and then into your squat from there if you choose. All right, and then we'll do our variation from our squat to standing. So I'll do the full squat to lift, stepping feet together, lifting left knee, and then coming back to a squat. Bringing left hand down, right hand goes up, extend the left leg, come on down. Come onto the elbow, roll onto your back, and then we'll change sides. So drawing the knees towards your chest, breathing in, arms reach up. Straighten the legs, reach for your toes, flatten the lower back, hug the inner thighs together to roll you up. Rolling down, bend the knees, feet to the mat, rise into your bridge. Coming down, extend the legs, reaching out. Feel the lift, rolling back down. Drawing the knees in, keeping left knee bent, right leg straightens, left hand over the shoulder, left foot to the mat, rolling to the right, coming onto elbow, hand, reaching through left hand, press down with the right hand, left foot, pull the knee in, and then find your way to your squat. Nice. Coming up and turning to the side, feet together. Coming back to your squat, sinking down. Right hand comes down, extending the right leg, coming down. Oop, I forgot my left hand. Coming on down to your back. Nice. And then we'll hug the knees to the chest. Beautiful. Alrighty. So we'll come back to our squat. We'll do the rock and roll. You can hold the legs if you choose. Coming to the squat that feels right to you. And we'll make it all the way to standing, coming all the way up. Nice. All right, beautiful. And we'll work a little bit with rotating the spine and using our core as we're doing this rotation, which is basically what we do every time we walk. So we're just going to exaggerate the walk and come onto the big toe and let the opposite hand cross, heel down, cross. And we'll just do that a couple times so you can get the feel for that. And now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see that I'm doing a little pulse with the hips. So when I bring the knee forward, I'm scooping the hips under as I cross. Okay, so then you can see kind of my natural arch in the back. And then when I step forward, there's that scoop under. Opposite hand coming to the knee. Okay, so it's got a little bit of a wave to it. Okay, now we'll let the knee come up. So you can either stay there, just keeping big toe on the floor, or you can start to lift the knee and opposite hand coming over the knee. And the other hand goes behind. And it's that same scoop. So I'm still scooping as I cross the body, scooping under. So it's the hips that are driving the lift of the knees. Okay. Nice. Okay. And now finally, we'll bring elbow to the outside of the leg. So once I cross, scoop over, elbow, cross the knee, other behind me. Coming down, scoop, cross, coming down. So the scoop under, I'm exaggerating it a little bit so you can see that pulsation. So scoop under to lift the knee. Great, nice. So now we'll take that twist, elbow to the outside of the leg, other arm behind, and step back to a lunge. Okay, so right foot back, and then we'll come forward, crossing the body again. Okay, and now we'll step back. Now we're going to come down to the right knee. Okay, now this is going to start to look a little bit familiar. We'll turn the right leg, bring the right hand down. Push down with the left foot, extend the right leg out. Now we'll pull it back in, come down onto the knee. Turn so you're in that low lunge. Lift the right knee. We'll bring it forward with the elbow coming across the body. Nice. Then bring that foot down. Take the left knee, scooping the hips forward to lift that knee across the body. And stepping back to the lunge. That knee comes down. Rotate the leg. Left hand comes down. Push down with the left hand. Extend the left leg. Pull the knee in. That knee comes down, and you're facing front, curling, toes under to lift, crossing the body. Okay, so we're going to create a flow with that. And again, you can always just keep big toe on the mat if you don't want to come into the full twist with the knee lifted. Let's come to our squat, or hands and knees if you choose. Then we'll rise up. Step forward with the left foot, bring right knee forward, crossing the body. Step back with the right foot, bringing that knee down. Turn the shin, right hand comes down. Press with the right hand, extend the right leg. Pulling the knee in, turning forward so you're in the lunge. Lifting the knee, coming back down, finding your squat. Coming up, lifting the left knee, crossing the body. Stepping back to the lunge, knee comes down, left hand comes down, turning left leg, press with the left hand, extend the left leg out, pulling in, come on to the knee, turn to face forward, curl right, left toes under, and cross the body. Nice, so we have this whole nice flow that we can start to piece together now. And we'll actually start from the back. So we'll come to our squat and come back down. Coming onto your back, knees over chest or belly. Breathing in, arms reach up. Extend the legs, reach your fingertips, press your shoulders towards your hips. Hug inner thighs together, flatten the lower back to lift. Rolling back down. Bend the knees, slide the heels on your mat. Press down with the heels, lifting the hips, arms reach overhead, that bridge position. And hugging. Shoulders towards the hips as the knees come back in. Left leg straightens, right arm goes over shoulders, left arm out to the side. Press into the right foot, and then roll to your side or onto left elbow. Press down with left hand as you straighten the elbow, lifting the left leg. Pull the knee in, come onto the left knee, turn to face forward. We're going to step through to our twist. So lifting the knee, stepping through. Right elbow crosses to the left. Coming down, here's our squat. And we can come all the way back down onto our back. Knees over chest or belly. Breathe in, reach up. Feel your ribs open. Exhale, feel the lower back flatten, reaching through your feet. Floating up as you hug the shoulders towards your hips, flattening your lower back. Rolling down. Bend the knees, slide the heels along the mat. Press into the mat. Lift into your bridge. Slowly rolling down. Bringing the knees in. And extending. Right leg. Left hand over the shoulder. Left foot on the floor. Press into that foot. Rolling to your right. Keeping the left hand up towards the ceiling as much as you can. As you lift the elbow, press into the right hand. Lifting the knee. Pulling the knee towards your nose. Bringing the knee to the mat. Turning to face the front. Here's our lift of the right knee. Coming to that twist. Right knee scooping forward from the hip. Nice. Feet wide apart. And we're back to our squat. And we'll come back onto our back. Let's do that flow each side once again. So knees over the belly or chest. Breathe in, reach up. Extend the legs. Hug the inner thighs together, flatten the lower back. Reach for your toes to lift up. Rolling back down. Bending the knees, bring the feet to the mat. Lifting to your bridge. Coming down, see if you can feel each vertebra articulating down. Bringing the knees to your chest. Left leg extends, right arm over, right shoulder as right foot comes down. Left hand out to the side. Or hug the knees together and roll to your side. Making your way to hands and knees. If you're choosing that variation, press down with the left hand, lift the left leg, pull in. Bring the left knee to the mat. Turn to face the front. Here's the crossing the body. Cool. Feeling this hips scooping. Foot comes down, find your squat. And come onto your back. Knees over, belly, chest. Breathing in, arms reach up. Breathing out, legs extend. Fingers reach for toes, inner thighs hug. Flatten the lower back to lift. Rolling down. Bringing the knees to the chest. Right leg straightens, left foot on the floor, left hand over shoulder. Rolling to your right elbow. Straightening that arm, pressing into the hand, lifting the right knee. Pull the knee towards your nose. Knee comes down. Coming to that lunge facing forward. Lifting right knee. Nice. And coming down. Finding your squat. And rolling back down. Nice. Knees to chest. Breathe in, reach up. Legs straighten out. Flattening lower back, hug inner thighs. Feel the shoulders press down towards the mat as well as towards your hips. It can really help you turn on that engine. Drawing the knees in, plant the heels, lifting to your bridge. Slowly coming down, bringing the knees in. Nice, then left leg extends, right foot on the floor, left hand out, rolling to your left. And rising. Oops, I went to the wrong side. I'm going to come back down. We'll straighten the right leg, bring the left knee down, left hand out. Roll to the right, straighten arm, lift, and come up. Bringing the knee forward, and finding your squat. Alright, so we'll take a rest here in our squat. Feel free to take that rest on your hands and knees, or even on your elbows. Beautiful. So now we will come onto our hands and knees. We'll work a little bit with our core from the perspective of crawling. Okay, so we'll come onto hands and knees. When we are first starting in life, we finally make our way to this position. We do exactly what we were doing from the back, start to lift the head and shoulders, then we start to roll side to side, eventually rolling onto one side, and somehow we make it here and we start to mobilize. So we want to think about how our body coordinates with itself. So our shoulders and our hips, which we discovered as part of our core, how they coordinate with each other to create locomotion. So I find the easiest way to feel this from a crawling position is to lift the knees, just so your shins are parallel to the ground. Now you just automatic lifting of the knees, you can feel everything kind of cinch in through your core. What I want you to play with now is letting the shoulders relax and then engaging them. So by relax, I mean the shoulder blades come together. Then when you are engaging them, you're pushing down with your hands. It's like you're trying to push the ground away from you. And you can sort of feel that difference in your core, how it moves more to the lower back when you relax the shoulders, and how it moves more to the front when you're pressing down into your hands. Now we'll lift the knees again. This time we're going to feel what happens in the hips. So if I tilt my hips back, how does that affect my shoulders? Does that create that sagging? If I tuck my hips down and forward, can that help my shoulders? So how do they relate with each other in terms of how they distribute weight between each other, especially when one is in a particular tilt or not? Okay, now see, how can we move forward? Now if we start to think about it too much, we'll get messed up. So just think opposite, hand and knee. So starting with the hands. Okay, now we're just going to go to the front of the mat and back again. So you would reverse that. So it's still starting with the hand and the foot. Well, I guess going back it is the foot starting, then the hand follows. Okay, so you can just take a rest. Feel free to come to a seat and shake out the wrists a little bit. They're feeling a little tender. And if you have tender wrists, you could try gripping a little bit, like you're trying to dig your fingernails into it. See if that helps at all. If it doesn't, you could do options just on your forearms and just hold the knees, pressing down with the shoulders. So I think about the chest muscles really working, like you're trying to do a chest fly, bringing your elbows towards each other, and that really activates that. Okay, so we're just going to do one more of those. So again, just lifting the knees and walking forward. Don't think too much about it. Just see if you can feel it. What does it feel like in your shoulders? What does it feel like in your hips to crawl. Nice, and then take a rest. And that was more to really show you how much weight our hips and our shoulders bear in a crawling position. We'll do just a few like babies do. Instead of lifting the knees up, we'll kind of scoot the knees forward. And what you'll notice is that there's this side to side shifting that has to happen to coordinate that. So when we had the knees lifted, it was more linear, it's a little more forward movement, not so much the hips swaying side to side and the shoulders coming to meet them. But when we're learning to crawl as babies, there's a lot of that. So we're just going to do that a few times, kind of exaggerating that tilt side to side. So you can really experience that and how those muscles coordinate with the core. Well, they are core muscles. They just tend to crisscross the body. So we'll do that one more time, just the baby crawl. And feeling that side to side swing of the hips and the shoulders, and just seeing if that's working in a coordinated way. I think I'm starting to get a little affected because I'm thinking about it too much. Great, so now we'll cross the ankles and sit back into a cross-legged position. Just letting the legs stretch out. Give them a little shimmy. Let the legs shake a little bit. Let the feet be floppy. Let the arms and shoulders shake, just shaking out a little bit. So shaking helps us to repattern. It's a release mechanism that's very natural for mammals, especially to shake when they have trauma. And that shaking helps to release the trauma from the nervous system. Now we're doing something that's helping us to repattern our movement, so we kind of want to think about shaking off our old patterns. And then we'll rest. So just letting the legs extend out, letting them be wide. You can have your hands on your belly again as we started, or it can be out by your side. So why rest after boot camp? It is when we rest that change really comes to the body. This is why after a yoga asana practice, there is shavasana. So science, and especially the study of the fascial system, the connective tissue within our body, it takes a long time for that tissue to reshape. But when we rest, that's when the reshaping actually happens. So when we're creating new patterns, movement in our body, releasing old tensions, building strength, it is the resting position that allows for that recalibration. For the new patterns to begin to form and settle. So just as you're resting here, just notice your breath. Notice any tension your body that you can let go of. Notice any thought patterns that may not be serving you that you can let go of. Beautiful. Just, if you have your eyes closed, just let them blink open. Let some movement come back to your feet, to your legs. Feel your hips wobble. Just create a little shake on your mat. And that might inspire a stretch or a yawn. And you can bend your knees and just roll to your side and come on up to a seat. So thank you so much for joining me. It's kind of an experiment here. So testing out how things feel and work as a flow with this practice. This is something I do for myself and I do with one-on-one clients. So just thought I'd see how it goes and see what you think. So thank you so much for joining me. Take care.